Well, welcome everyone. My name is Amanda. If you have never met me or trained with me before, I'm part of the training consulting team here at Reapid. So thank you for joining us today. We are in our IRE BDM Part 2 series. And in this session, we'll be taking a deeper dive into your leads, how to better manage them on a day-to-day basis, how to market leads and set up campaigns. In our last webinar, we looked at an overall reporting high-end view of the module. So today is a little bit different. We'll be getting into more specifics of nurturing your leads. It's going through some additional customizations and some considerations you might want to take away for your business today. A little bit of housekeeping and introduction to who is on our panel today. So on the panel, we've got Alex and Anna. If you do have any questions, please feel free to pop it in the chat. Alex and Anna will be there answering any questions you may have. And we'll also be running some interactive polls. As you know, when we have had our previous webinars, would you really like for you to be as engaged as we can, just so we can have a little bit more of an understanding of how you're using the system. What we will cover today is your lead management. So having a look at your workflows, your communications from the lead, your campaigns, temperature settings. We'll also look through your marketing and campaigns and showing you how to set up a campaign, and also how you can set this up with set and forget. And we'll also talk about Rem Projector, how to prepare a report from your Tools tab. So we're going to start, as we do, like to have you all interactive with a poll. So I'll just prop that up on the screen and I'll just launch that now. So do you currently use BDM to track and communicate with your owners? And how do you currently manage your leads? So if you can all pop in your answers, that would be really great. Okay. So there's a lot on the call, or on the webinar, I should say, today that are not using BDM as such to communicate with your owners, or recording, or using a recording your conversations in IRE BDM. So that's really good to know. We'll cover that with the lead journey and nurturing your leads today. And we've got quite a few on the webinar. Some are using spreadsheets, notepads, and there's a few of you there that are using IRE BDM to manage your leads. Perfect. All right, I'm just going to end that poll. And I'll just click out of that. And we'll get on to starting the webinar. Wonderful. All righty. So let's go straight into how do you manage your leads. So are you looking at your leads on a daily basis, sending communications from the lead, or as we've just seen with the poll, some are still using other platforms to do this? Think about IRE BDM as your one-stop platform to manage your lead from start to finish. So essentially within the lead, you can track your temperature and statuses of your lead. You can record your conversations. You can send emails and book appraisals, managing each step of the lead along the way. And the best part is when you do change statuses, you can automate these communications through the statuses, making it easier for you to stay on top of your pipeline. So let's go through lead management together. So on the left-hand side under leads, this is essentially where all of my leads are going to be sitting. Now, with our IRE BDM leads and our leads grid, you can see up the top like in all of our products in IRE BDM, you can customize your screen to look and feel how you would like to sort of see your setup and the journey of your lead. In my account, I like to see the follow-ups as to when I need to follow up my clients. I also like to see my rating, whether I'm working on hot leads, warm leads, cold leads, etc. I also like to see my lead statuses in the forefront so I can see my leads, exactly what they're up to, and I guess the next steps I need to do with them, as well as my contacts. I do have my referrers tab here and the date that the lead was created, but again, via the column chooser, you can drag and drop your columns to customize your grid by clicking save to view exactly how you would like. Now, in terms of lead management, what do we do when we receive a lead? Let's go through that life cycle together and the workflow. The workflow is something perhaps that you might would like to adopt in your office so that you can nurture your leads a little bit easier. So to add in a lead, I'm sure you're all familiar with the create new prospective landlord, and we're going to add in a lead manually. So popping in their details, email address. The residential address is their personal address if you don't have the prospective landlord's personal details in terms of address, you don't have to put that on. They automatically are subscribed to campaigns, newsletters, and messages, so these will be ticked on. And if you would like to add any general notes in this spot, you can. And then you can auto assign a BDM. Down below, we've got our temperature. So in this spot here, you can automatically change your temperature statuses. And in the back end of your settings, you can change the lead statuses so they are automatic per status, depending on the temperature that you've set them on. Let's just make this one a warm lead. Selecting the source of the lead. So following on from our IRE BDM series part 1, with our end of month reporting, you might want to track where your sources of leads are coming from, and this is essentially where you would input that information. The inquiry date was today, and in the backend settings, I have this set up that any new leads that I add in manually, it's after a 3-day follow-up, but I can actually change that follow-up date there. I can add in a specific referrer if the property was referred by them, or I can select a category if they're part of categories. Now down below, we've got these 3 tabs and it's defaulted to a no property tab. This is where I would add in the property that I potentially would like to list. So let's just add that in. Now again, if you don't have the property information right now, but it's a potential landlord that might be looking at purchasing something in the future, you don't necessarily need to add this information. What this is great for is when we go into booking in appraisals from the system, if you have that information, that would be great for that purpose. Popping in the information. If we scroll a little bit down below, we can pop in the date that the property is going to be available, the status of the property, whether it's vacant, tenanted, under construction, or if it's owner occupied. Management information, currently managed by, might be managed by another agency at the moment. You can add that detail in. And if it's managed by your agency, who the current manager is, if you're using our IRE BDM product. Appraisal date and information, you can pop in this information in this section if you have perhaps done a past appraisal or if you haven't booked one from the system. And further down below, you can add in further information in terms of ideal rent, perhaps what the current rent is. And in the back end settings, I do have my management fees, which are calculating my letting fees, management fees, etc. Now, if I've negotiated a particular commission fee, I can change that. And as you can see to the right, the monetary value is changing. So that's really handy if you're speaking to an owner on the phone and you're negotiating fees, or they'd like to see what your fee structure is like or how much it will be per week or per month, etc. You can do all of that without having to grab out a calculator. You can do that all from the system. In the back end, you can add in promotions within your settings. So if this particular lead came in from a particular promotion that you're running, you can attach this lead to a promotion and add any additional notes. Further down below, you'll see information like insurance, pool, and smoke alarms. If you do know that information, perhaps you would like a place to record these rather than on spreadsheets or on a notepad, you can actually add in this information from this spot down below. We will come back to this new lease file pickup a little bit later on. So that was adding in a lead manually via the Create New, filling out the specifics in terms of property, and scrolling all the way down below to additional details and financial details. Now, once I click Save, a range of different options are going to appear. Now, when I ran the poll earlier in the session, a lot of you have identified, or we've identified, that you will be, or you are currently using Outlook for your communication out to your landlords. Under the contact history, this is where I'm recording all the times that I've contacted Anna Alex. So any status changes you've made, any notes that you've added in will all be recorded under this contact history, as well as if you did a contact session and you made notes, you can find that under the contact history. Now, to add a note within the lead, you can simply just click Add Note. So keen to list. It's really hard to remember every conversation that you have with your clients, so you can add in notes and simply click Add. You'll be able to record the conversations that you're having or any actions within this contact history. And I can hover over and I can see the last notes that were made. I can also send an email directly to the client. Within the messages section, you do have templates that you can build. So if I wanted to send a booking appraisal link to Anna so that they can book the appraisal themselves, I can. Or if I wanted to send them a virtual listing kit, I can do that also. Any templates that you've created, you can load into this section. Simply select who's going to be emailing and send that email. You can also upload attachments. If you wanted to send a blank email, you're able to also send a blank email as well, and this will be recorded in this section. As well as if you had an SMS for the client, you would be able to SMS the client as well. So under the contact history, you've got all the space to add in your notes, send emails or SMS as a record. Under the ADL REI forms, if you do have that integration, you can click on here and integrate your REI and ADL forms. You might perhaps want to generate your managing authorities all from the lead. You can definitely do that. Under the Now File section, this is where you can add any documentation. Perhaps there's strata body corporate rules that the client has emailed you, and rather having that in your Outlook, you can pop it in here and delete that email because everything is recorded within that lead. Appraisals I'm going to come back to, and campaigns I'll come back to as well, but you've got your virtual listing kit. So if you would like to email the virtual listing kit to the client, you can definitely prepare that, but just click on Create and click on Test in a moment. You'll be able to see what our virtual listing kits look like. Now, these are customizable if you do have a webbook subscription. Otherwise, it will be the standard standard template that's in the system, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so essentially, this is what our virtual listing kit looks like. It's prepared for Anna and Alex, and they're the property that they own. If I scroll down, it has a little bit of a welcome information. You can pop in your agent profile in the back end. That's the part that you can have customized. Your details, and it will give you information about preparing their property for lease, the management process, any recommendations. So the recommendations that I have placed within their lead, you'll be able to see that there, as well as the client can click to view your current listings, and they can also book an appraisal from this tab here, which will come to booking appraisal. So all of that has been created and done within the lead. So I'm going to click Save and Close, and let's have a look in regards to the life cycle of, just cancel this. It was thinking that I was sending an email still. We'll go through the life cycle. So essentially, I'm a BDM. I've come into my management leads grid. I might want to filter and have a look at all of my hot leads. And I might want to work through all of my hot leads from there. Or I might want to work through my contacts or lead statuses and work through contacting those leads. So let's look at Anna and Alex. They're the client that I've just added into the system. Now, perhaps I've contacted Anna and the client on the phone would like to book an appraisal with me. Rather than me going into Outlook, adding it into my calendar, sending an email to the client from Outlook, I can communicate and book all my appraisals from the lead. Simply just select the address. We're going to book this appraisal with Anna and Alex and go to the booking appraisal page. Now, earlier on when we were in our contact, when you send this link to your clients, this is the same appraisal booking page that they'll see. You can enter in a meeting address. Otherwise, if it's the same as the property address, just click Save and Next. You do have the ability to add in your ideal week, which I can show you how to add that in, where I have inputted the days and the times that I'm available. So perhaps on a Sunday, I'm only available between 10 and 12. But on a Monday, I'm available between 11 and 1. You can input the days and times that you are available. So let's just select this and click Next. So now we've booked in that appraisal for the client, and the client will have received an email from me confirming that we have booked an appraisal. We're going through the change status wizard there, and the status has automatically changed to meeting appraisal booked. So Anna, the client, would have received a confirmation email, which I'll just bring that up for you, confirming that we've booked this as appraisal, as well as they will have um, a calendar invitation that they can sync with their own calendar, which is really awesome. If I just click Save and Close, there you go. The status is in meeting appraisal booked. So we've entered in the lead and we've booked an appraisal. Now, on the left-hand side under appraisals and ideal week is where you'll be able to select your name as the BDM, click on the three dots and add the days and times that you are available. And once you have passed the appraisal booking page, the system will automatically ask you for feedback. Now, just circling back to our webinar last week, where we were talking about reporting and how important it is to move through particular statuses. So as you can see, I can see that I've got 4 appraisals that have booked. Appraisals proceeding were on 2, and I've got 1 management secured and 1 listed. On the right-hand side up to appraisal feedback, when you have conducted the appraisal, the system will ask you for feedback. Simply just click on the widget, or you can go into directly appraisals and you can pop in your feedback. So 3 dots, let's add in some feedback. For this training purposes, we're going to say that the client is proceeding, but you can either place that the client is either not proceeding or unsure. These statuses are also attached to messages if you've got them ticked on. It's at this point here, I might want to change this to a hot lead now because they're proceeding. I can add any additional information, my financials that we've spoken about, and click submit. Back to my leads on IRE BDM leads. There we are there. Anna and Alex, they're in the appraisal completed proceeding. Essentially from here, if I click into the lead, I might now want to prepare a managing authority. If I do have that integration via REI forms, I can do that directly. I don't in my test account, but let's just pretend we've sent the managing authority and it's been returned. I might change that status to management secured because we've received that managing authority. Again, this management secured is attached to a particular message. It's at this point here where I can select to send it to the client and I can make any amendments to that message before I send this out. So I can change any of the wording here and send that update. So going through this life cycle, I can also come back in and add a note. Secured management need to book for photos and add that note. Save and close. We're now in the management secured. Once you've listed the property and it's on the market, you might change the status to property listed. This again is attached to a message. You perhaps may like to, in this message, embed for the client to book in to, or pop in a link to your website so that they can see their advertisement and just click that update. So when you're nurturing your leads, it might be on a Monday and you needed to give all your clients a call in regards to the property listed status. You might want to filter down into your property listed categories, click search, and all of your leads that are in the property listed status will appear. You might want to conduct a contact session to contact these clients to keep them updated on how their property is going on the market. Again, recording that information within the system. Moving along, once the property has leased, we would change this status to property leased transferred. Again, referring back to our IRE BDM Series 1 last week, when I'm changing this status, I'm now inputting the data as to how much rent I've achieved and also when the lease start date will be. Or if I've picked up a management, I might change this to file pickup because it might have been a transfer of management. This is all going to record through into your reporting. Click next and update that status. That particular lead now has moved out of my current status, as you can see on the right, is no longer in the current status there. If I wanted to find that particular lead, all I'll do is switch this to all, and they will then appear in the property lease transferred status in my all screen because I'm no longer nurturing that particular client. I've listed and leased that property. So how are we all feeling? Essentially, that is a very I guess, quick way on showing you how to manage and nurture your leads, but some of the key features that you would be able to see that you can do within the lead. Having the time to be able to come in and record all of your steps, processes within the lead, not having to go through to different platforms or spreadsheets to manage all of this, as well as your appraisals. So I'm going to pop up a poll. I'd love to hear your feedback in regards to this. And I'd also like to pop in what was the life cycle that I went through when nurturing this lead? What were the steps that I went through? We'll get, yep, entering a lead, managing, and then booking the appraisal. Fantastic. That's exactly right. I'm just going to end that poll. The next steps, what we're going to run through is marketing and campaigns. So this is quite a popular part of the program. And I will enter in another poll because it's really important for us to know how many people have set up a campaign or have seen campaigns within IRE BDM. So I'll just launch that poll. Do you have campaigns set up in IRE BDM? No, tell me more. Amazing. I thought that this would be a popular one. Some of you have got poll campaigns set up already, which is amazing. And you love it. That's really great. All right, I'm going to end that poll there and let's get stuck into IRE BDM campaigns. So campaigns are a great way to automatically keep in touch with your leads. You can set up simple, complex communication trails that can be either manually added in or automatically based on triggers. Examples of some campaigns are perhaps you want to target people who are looking to purchase a property, or you might want to target clients that you have conducted appraisals for and they've gone with another agent. We can provide you some suggestions and templates to get you started, and we can just give you that little example there. But essentially, setting up a campaign, there is a 3-step process. The first step in adding in a campaign is well, this is a pre-step to the first step, is knowing your content and knowing who you want to target when you're creating these campaigns. So step 1, if we go to messages, IRE BDM campaigns. Now for this demonstration, I'm going to target clients that I have lost to another agent. Okay. Now it's really important when you're adding in your campaign information that when you're adding in the template, add in the name of the campaign and the email order. This will make more sense when we get to the next step, but simply to add in your template, just come to add new, name the template, and name the email order. Now you can see the gray arm has populated out. This is where I can start embedding in my information. You can add in text in the body of the email. You can also add in SMS, and you've got additional merge fields that you can add in to your messages. One other awesome thing that you can do is create your own templates. So let's say I wanted to talk about electrical safety. I'll show you how you can create these templates that you can simply just add in to your campaigns. So the first step is adding in the information. The email order. So name the template and the email order. So this first one is perhaps just touching base. You know that the client has now listed the property and essentially you're just checking in to see how everything's going. The second email that I've created for this one is talking about the importance of a routine inspection. The third one might be about maintenance. So the first step is IRE BDM messages, campaigns, adding in your templates. The second step, if we come to IRE BDM, marketing and campaigns, it will land on your overview. So you'll be able to see how many leads you have in total, how many templates you've created, and if you currently have any campaigns currently running. Now you can have more than one campaign going at the same time. If we just click on campaigns, if this is the first time you're adding in your campaign, just click add the first campaign. You need to name the campaign, so lost to another agent, and select where you would like this email to come from, whether it's directly from the BDM or a different source, and then click save. What we're now going to do is embed the emails, and we're going to tell the system at what date and time we would like these emails to be sent. So click on add a step. Step 1 is we're selecting the template. So earlier on when we were adding in the messages, I gave the recommendation of making sure that you name the template as the campaign and the email order. If I did not have the email order, it would get very lost. I'd only see lost to another agent, and I wouldn't be able to see the sequence. So let's drop in email 1. You can prop in a pre-header. I want this particular message to go out 1 month after I change a specific status when we get to triggers. And I want to send this email at 10 a.m. Click save. Add another step. The second step is adding in email 2. The time I might want to send this message out 2 months after the first message has gone out. You can also do days and of the week as well, and also setting the time and clicking save. Now, as you can see to the right, you have an email or an SMS option, and you would continuously add in your emails, pop in your days, your times that you would like these to be set. Now, if you don't have this step loop 2 after current step, the campaign will stop. However, if you've sent, say, for example, 3 emails and you want the campaign to keep going, you might want it to loop to email 1. Once all of the emails have been sent, you can loop it to email 1 and click save, and then that particular campaign will just be continuous. I'll just pause for a moment. And we'll just let that set in because there is a little bit of information there in terms of setting up a campaign. So the second step in adding in the campaign is adding in your templates. You also have the preview email so that you can see that and ensure that you have embedded in the correct template. You're selecting the times when you would like to send the emails. And if you would like to loop the emails back to a particular step, then you can, and also the form of communication. Once we have added in all of our steps, we're now going to move along to triggers. We're going to start with the on triggers. So if we just think back, I'm targeting people who I have done a previous appraisal and they're no longer proceeding. When I change the lead in the system to perhaps appraisal not proceeding now, that is when that particular lead is going to be on this loss to another agent campaign. If I click add trigger, it's just confirming that any lead that I change their status to appraisal not proceeding will be entered into this campaign. Going to click OK. So that's now set. Now, something to think about, perhaps you have sent out 12 emails to all leads that are in this status, and clients have come back to you because they've really liked your information that you're sending out, and they may perhaps want you to book another time for a meeting. You wouldn't come into the Create New and add their lead in again. You would find their lead in your leads grid. They will be in the appraisal not completed status, and you may change them to either meeting appraisal booked or current prospect, for example. I now want to take them off that campaign because they no longer need to receive the information that I have created targeting the people who I've lost that management to. So simply just click Add Off Trigger and click OK and click Save. So essentially we've set up our campaign. Come to IRE BDM messages campaigns. We've added in all of our templates. We've come to IRE BDM marketing campaigns, and I've set up my campaign. If you do want to set up additional campaigns, you can do that by simply clicking Add a New Campaign. We've also added in our triggers. So let's see how that looks like in a lead. So if I just come to leads, I'm just going to clear this and just change my view to current. And let's say I have gone out to Meghan Markle's property and I've conducted the appraisal. If I just click into that particular lead, if I click into appraisals, I can also give my feedback from here. So if I just click on feedback and I select that they're not proceeding, you can see here that they're automatically going to be on that particular campaign that I've just created, because the appraisal not proceeding status is the trigger to add them onto that campaign. So I'm just going to click completed. And if I go back into the lead, and if I click on campaigns, you can see now that Meghan Markle is on Lost to Another Agent campaign. The first email will be sent on the 6th at 10 o'clock, because that is what I have placed as my first email to go out at that particular time. Now, if you are in a lead and you wanted to add in a client directly into a campaign and not wait for the triggers, you could also do that by simply selecting Add a Campaign, find the campaign you want to add them on and do that. If a client unsubscribes to your campaigns, you'll see this as unticked. There is also a report that you can pull from the Reports tab. Or if the client has contacted you directly and would like you to remove you from the campaign, you can just click on cancelled or pop in an end date and click save and close. So that's setting up a campaign. The next part of this session is showing you how you can create your own templates. So if I just click on to the marketing email template designer, you can see that I've got quite a few templates already in the system, but this one is targeting either the BDM campaign, or I can create a newsletter directly for my contact. So let's just use campaign. If you recall, when we were setting up our campaigns, I did advise that rather than just having text all the time, you can actually create your own templates that you can embed in any of your messages. We're doing that via the email template designer. Under your template type is campaign. Simply click on templates, new single layout, and name your template. So it could be Reforms Queensland, or it might be about pool safety. And simply click save. You can see in orange to the left is the template that I'm in. So if I just click into logo and image, I can upload my logo and image. I can pop it in the center. I can make it bigger or smaller. I'm customizing this template to what suits me. Under the article type, to the left, I'm adding in what I'll see on the right. You can actually also change the text, change the font, change the coloring. You can do anything that you like and create this however you like. To the right, I'm clicking in main image. If I want to upload a picture of a pool, I can. Again, I've got the ability to change the width, the length, etc. And here is where I might want to add in an article, whatever the article may be. You can also add in lead names. So you can add in any merge fields down below. You might have an article that you would like to embed the link in, and you might want to put here, click here to read more. Or you might want to embed your appraisal booking link. You might pop in here, click here to book an appraisal and add your link. And there you are there. Once you're finished with your template, click Save. If you come back into your messages, you're then able to embed any of the templates that you've created. Yeah. Now, another template that clients do love using is under BDM Contact. So same thing, you would come to the left-hand side, new single layout, and create your email template. Now, let's say, for example, you're going through reform changes and something has been updated and you would like to contact all of your leads in your IRE BDM leads grid. Now, you might have clients that are in your leads that are on campaigns, or they may not be, but this is something that you want to inform them about a particular change and you want to email everyone. So you would come to the IRE BDM Marketing Email Template Designer, change this to contact, and create your template. The next step that you would do is under templates, select contact and build the body of that particular message. So again, you would add in a template, name the template, add in who you're contacting, who's it from, and the subject. And then you could drop in your newsletter and click Save. Now, how to send this out to all of your contacts? You simply just come to your IRE BDM leads and contacts, select all, come down to the little envelope, and you will be able to use that particular template. So let's just say it's the Queensland Reforms template. Click Next. And now I'm going to email all my clients about the new. So that's the marketing within IRE BDM. The next part I'm going to talk about is in regards to Rent Projector. Now, Rent Projector is a handy tool for you to be able to create and do a CMS style report for your owners. It does pull data from all IRE users who have opted in to use this tool. If you are a client that you would like to opt in to share your data, please contact our support team, but just want to make that quite clear that it is pulling data from the IRE network for clients who have opted in to be able to share that information. So to be able to conduct that report, come to IRE BDM Tools and Rent Projector. Essentially, if you are familiar with our lettings product, it's the same, and you've used our Run Wizard, it's pretty much the same sort of style. It's a 3-step process. So step 1, we want to select the criteria. So I want to have a look at all units that are a 2-bed, 1 bath, 1 garage in Melbourne. $3,000. And I may want to look at information within the last year. You do have the ability to change that information or a particular month or date range. Once you've embedded that information, just go to the right-hand side and click on step 2. The system will bring up 3 different categories. So you've got your medium, high price range, so from low, medium to high. It's found 3,701 properties, and you need to select a minimum of 3 per group. So under the recently rented, I might want to select this one. You do get to scroll through and see the photos. If you actually click in, you can select that property there. If you click on the eye, you'll be able to also see the description of the particular property. So you would go in and select your 3, as well as in your medium price point. So again, you can scroll through your photos, click on the little eye and view the description. Select these, and again in your highest price point. So you would want to come in and select those. Once you've selected your properties, you can move on to step 3. This will now start inputting in that information, and we're going to build the body of that report. So we're going to send this to Anna. Anna Alex was our client. Pop in their email address. You can change the font of the report, and down below here under the introduction page, we're going to pop it who it's to, the subject, property appraisal. This down below is where you would want to come in and just make sure that you amend the price. Doesn't embed it automatically. You could need to come in and embed the price as to what your recommendation will be. And then to the right here is you'll pop in also the recommendation, because that's part of a field. And popping in that information down below as well. So it's just remembering where you need to add in your recommendations. You can also upload an image. We'll upload an image there, and making sure that we pop in the property address as well. I can click save, and now I want to build this report. Oh, need to pop in my phone number. Save and build. So you'll be able to see here that it's built the report. So this is essentially what it will look like. So if I scroll down, this is the information we've put in the information there from 600 to 670, our recommendations, our property manager recommendations, and also what has recently rented. If you're happy with that, you can save. We'll save that there. Under reports on the left-hand side, you'll be able to see all the reports that you have built. You can click on the 3 dots and re-download that. Now, if I wanted to send this through to Anna, Alex and Anna, who I worked with earlier, I can click into their lead. I perhaps may have created a template about Rent Projector. Click on send an email. I can upload that attachment, and I can send that all within the lead. So there it is there. That's the attachment, and send that through. So to find Rent Projector, I was on the left-hand side under IRE BDM Tools and Rent Projector. Excellent. So just going to share my screen, just quickly move across. And we're nearly at the close of our webinar. Couple of things, if you don't mind, I'm just going to share this code with you. We do value your opinion, and we would love for you to be able to fill out the survey on how you felt today's session has gone. We will run a poll in a moment. We just want to make sure, and we want to know what was your favorite part of today's session. So we will run that poll in just a moment. If you can kindly fill out that survey, that will be wonderful. I'll just give it another second before I move across to the poll. Okay, so let's launch this poll. We want to know what was your favorite part of today's session. Just launch that. Was it lead management? Was it marketing? Or was it rent projector? Rent projector, that's amazing. Love that. Somewhere with marketing. Awesome. That's great. I'll just end that poll. Now, we are coming to a close, obviously, to our webinar today. So we really do appreciate you joining. If you would like to learn more, you can kindly email us on the email address that you're seeing on your screen. We can discuss one-on-one consultations if you were interested in that. We hope to see you at our next webinar, which will be held on the 17th of June with some IRE tips and tricks. Please feel free to register with that. And thank you again all for joining today's session. Have a wonderful rest of the day.